Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon to everyone in the MENA region and everyone everywhere. Welcome to Emerald's webinar, Gender Equity and Female Empowerment in the Middle East and Africa region. My name is Nadine Wadia. I'm the Regional Marketing Manager in the MENA region, and I'm happy to be moderating this session for you today. First, let me share some groundkeeping rules to ensure you have a good experience throughout the webinar. So we have the orange arrow at the top right of your screen. It closes and opens your control panel. You can change the audio option to computer or phone. Please note that all attendees' microphones are muted. However, please ask your questions in the text box in the control panel, and your questions will be answered by the panelists by the end of the presentation of the webinar. I hope you have a great webinar today with us today, and thank you for joining. In March, we are celebrating International Women's Day, and we understand how the world has become challenging. Even for women, it's becoming even more challenging, especially with the pandemic. In the Middle East and Africa region, women demonstrate so much strength and resilience and play so many roles, starting from caring for others in their family and their networks to taking care of their careers and advancing in their careers. This really causes them to have so many daily challenges, like facing challenges of juggling responsibilities and requiring support and mentorship, to even more long-standing challenges, like having stereotypes, like the challenging topics we have in the region for so long, like the stereotypes, the pay gaps, the gender inequality, and lots of other challenges. The list is quite long, actually. At Emerald, as a publisher, we have seen so much decline in research in the last year, especially with the pandemic. So we want to address these challenges and keep the discussion going to be able to support lots of the women in academia, in research, and in academia in general. Today, we want to celebrate the strong women in the region, and we have so many inspirational women in the MENA region. We want to show great examples of successful women who are.
Okay. Hello, everyone. We apologize for this technical problem because the electricity went off at Nadine's place, and she's the Emerald representative for this webinar. I'm going to take over leading this discussion now, and although I cannot share the slides at the moment, I will do in a few seconds. The members of this panel are as follows. Basically, myself, I'm Professor Noam Basmini, Vice Dean for Academic Affairs at the Faculty of Management Technology, the German University in Cairo. And there's also Dr. Naila Al-Modi. She's Associate Professor and Head of Data Science Department at Princess Sumaya University of Technology in Jordan. And we have also with us today two strong ladies from the Biblioteca Alexandrina, Ms. Yusuf, Head of Library Sector, and Ms. Rania Osman, Head of the Library Section at the Biblioteca Alexandrina here in Egypt. And we're also fortunate to have with us Ms. Nihal Balwash. She's the Research Project Manager and a member of the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor Egypt team at the American University Cairo School of Business. Now, before we start, inviting the panelists to respond to some of the questions that they have prepared to guide the discussion on this panel. I will just mention a few highlights that we have here from Egypt, and some statistics and some issues to help us guide the discussion. Now, the first of which is, being a marketing professor, I wanted to share with you also that some of the international brands like Monopoly, like BIC, like DreamWorks, like even McDonald's have even changed and transformed their logos on International Women's Day. We have global campaigns from Mars and Google that are For example, Google this year had a hashtag first of many, and Mars had a hashtag here to be heard. This is among others, and we have Emerald's campaign, which we are part of supporting today. And this campaign has the hashtag stepping up and the logo stepping up, level up. Also, on the Egyptian level here, recently the World Bank, the National Council for Women, and the British Embassy have launched the Gender Equity Seal for the private sector in Egypt. This event, the official launch of this event was 11th of March this month, and this launch was for the certification in particular of CIB, Commercial International Bank, and Vodafone here in Egypt. And they are meant to kind of lead the discussion on gender equity in the Egyptian context and set the tone for how the private sector should empower women. I'm sorry, I'm not able to share my slides. I'm not the organizer, and I should have been designated as presenter, but we have this technical problem. So we are happy to share later on the slides with the attendees. So basically also we wanted to share with you that in Egypt also we have the Women's Empowerment Strategy vision, which says that by 2030, Egyptian women will become active contributors to the achievement of sustainable development in a nation that guarantees their constitutional rights, ensures their full protection, and provides without discrimination political, social, and economic opportunities that enable them to develop their capacities and achieve their full potential. Also, globally, we can say that the role of women in 2020 and 2021, despite that this year has been designated as a year of ill omen, however, according to Dr. Muaz Doreid in the UN ERF Women Report, the last United Nations Economic Research Forum Women Report that was done jointly and published in 2020, the regional director of the UN Women Regional Office for Arab States specifically said that the role of women and the topic of gender is accentuated in the whole world by, number one, the 25th anniversary of the Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action, the 20th anniversary of the United Nations Security Council Resolution 1325 on Women, Peace and Security, the 5-year milestone of the 2030 Agenda and Sustainable Development Goal 5 on gender equality, as well as the decennial of the UN Women itself. Despite this prominence and the importance of the role of women, the report mentioned several key issues that deterred the progress of gender equity discussions globally. The first is that on the level of Arab states, we can say that investments in paid care services, which are particularly important to support women's labor force participation in the Arab states in specific, are currently the lowest in any region. Hence the importance of discussions like the panel we are having today. The reasons also for the low labor force participation rate relate in part to women's unpaid care responsibilities and the lack of care services and policies that could help reconcile these responsibilities with paid employment, hence resulting in a pay gap. And also, other than these issues, there are gender role attitudes in the region that favor a male breadwinner and a female caregiver division of labor, which prevails in the region. And potential change in these numbers, in these statistics, and these attitudes. I had a slide that shows some of the statistics on the Arab world, in the Middle East in specific, with the percentage agreeing that men should have priority when jobs are scarce, and that being a housewife is as fulfilling as working for pay. And both show a very high level of agreement from both men and women in the Arab region. Now, if we talk about women in academia, and most of our panelists today are dealing more or less with academia, and that is why we emphasize the role of women in academia here in this panel. We can say that, for example, in Germany, even a society as advanced as Germany, only 25% of German professors are actually female, while 75% are male. And in the rest of Europe, also statistics show that the higher up the academic ladder, the wider the gender gap. In the Asia-Pacific region also, which hasn't been more fortunate, in Australia, women hold fewer senior faculty positions than men. And in the US, also a leader of the free world, women are less likely than men to achieve tenure and high-ranking academic positions. Like we said, I said we'll share the slides, and these include all the references for the issues that we are raising in the panel today. Now, the challenges of women in academia, also from the landing campaign page of Emerald, which is stepping up to level up, we can see that 68% of women are thinking of leaving academia due to cultural practices and pressures. And this is even more pronounced in the region. Also, Forbes recently published an article that talked about gender imbalance in academia and what universities need to learn from businesses. And one of the issues they mentioned was that gender imbalance in senior leadership in academia has less to do with managing childcare, as we would all expect, and more to do with a number of very complicated individual and institutional factors. And we want to raise discussion on some of these factors here today. Now, with COVID-19, a recent article also showed that the situation is not getting better. One of the articles that was published in 2020 in the Journal of Management Studies mentioned that women constituted 39% of global employment, but 54% of pandemic-related job losses. And some of the factors raised due to COVID-19 that led to these job losses were labor market shifts through layoffs, for example, and also the abrupt change to remote work arrangements and as related to the pandemic, and also abrupt change to remote school for many children, which have affected women's ability to remain in the workforce. Some also other factors are like industry norms, the organizational culture and behavior of leaders and managers, also country-specific policies and the culture that I've raised some of the issues in the UN ERF report earlier, also affected the role of women and gender equity in general. Some factors included also socioeconomic status, the home support system, and these have led to proximal outcomes and distal outcomes for women. Some of the proximal outcomes included, of course, reduced inclusion in high-power networks, change in work hours, the multitasking that is continuously requested, reducing work-family boundaries and increased work-family conflict. Some also of the distal outcomes included hindered career progression, increased stress and lower well-being, and the potential for increased turnover, reduced access to information, lower salary and higher pay gap, lower job satisfaction, and reduced productivity and performance in general, all related to and accelerated due to COVID-19. Despite this negative outlook, somehow there have been also shared on social media through LinkedIn and other platforms a celebration of some examples of top women CMOs in the Middle East in specific. So a question which this panel can raise is, are women employed in the Middle Eastern companies more fortunate than women in academia? And I want to share a success story here of a person I know here in Egypt who is a mother of 3 and who is an entrepreneur who has founded an environmentally and eco-friendly solution startup called WeCare here in Egypt. And she was celebrated by the Ministry of Environment recently as a success story of an empowered female figure who's able not just to have an impact on her community and in her country, but also to have a purpose, which is actually looking out for the environment and so on. Like I said, we'll share the slides. Unfortunately, I'm not able to share them at the moment on screen, but hopefully the technical problem gets resolved soon. So back to this example, some of the things that we think have led to the success of this particular figure and others in the region is their ability to have work-life balance. And some of the key takeaways that we hope can benefit other women here in the region are, and we can discuss this more in the panel, are the ability to prioritize, the ability to commit to activities outside work, and to decide on the income goal, and to have more control over their lives, and to balance their trade-offs and to understand the trade-offs that they're willing to make and assume responsibility for their decisions. Also, looking for natural gifts, knowing the true goals, and thinking strategically about career prospects are among the factors that lead to successful work-life balance in a post-pandemic world. Also, we have insights from also Stephen Covey about how to have a weekly planning process that you revisit on weekly basis as a working woman here in the region. And some of these steps are first reviewing purpose and having a purpose-driven life, and defining key roles, like, for example, a wife, a business owner, a friend, and so on. Identifying goals and choices, and organizing time, exercising integrity, having the courage, for example, to say no to some of the tasks, and evaluating continuously and learning. So I'm going to stop here, and I want to open up the first question to the panelists, whom we are fortunate to have today with us. And the first question is, since women's roles are kind of socially constructed, as we've seen because of gender role attitudes, especially here in the region, what are some of the cultural influences that shape the role of women and women empowerment in the Middle East? Okay, I can show my screen now, so I'm going to...
I think it's working now, Dr. Noha?
Yes, can you see my screen?
Yes, it's perfect. Thank you so much. We apologize for any inconvenience.
No, so it's perfectly okay. So I think we can start with the first question, Nadine. We can ask our panelists to address this question and share their thoughts and experiences. How have women's roles been socially constructed, and what are some of the cultural factors that influence and shape the role of women in the Middle East? Maybe we can start with Dr. Naila, and then Siham, and then Rania and Dina. If everyone's ready. Dr. Naila, are you ready to answer this question?
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Roha. Thank you, Emerald, for this beneficial session. Regarding this question, actually, I read a lot about it and found that, for example, in the Middle East, we have a lot of cultural influence, cultural basics that influence the women since they are young girls, starting from their families, that they teach the girls or raise the girls that they should take care of their siblings or take care of their families. So they have this feeling of responsibility from young age, and having this role as giving care for other people beside their, for example, learning or their school or their hobbies improvement. So this is the first thing to influence the girl. And also that the girl are raised are raised to be to follow the expectations from their parents, so they can't let them down or feel disappointed. So they always raised up to become a people pleaser or followers. So, and they have the heart to say no for others, starting from their young age. So maybe this should be tackled, or should be learned, to how to raise girls to feel and to be equally capable as men, and successful and happy. Not that I should work hard to let others be happy. No, I should work hard to be happy and to let others be happy also. So this is for the family. The family point. Maybe other panelists like Ms. Siham and Ms. Dina would like to talk more about the other points.
I would like to comment on this. First, thank you so much, Nadine, for the efforts that you have done to make this webinar happen. And thank you so much, Dr. Noha, for introducing us and for the nice introduction. And thank you, Dr. Naila, for touching upon very important aspects when it comes to the culture, because I think the main issue with female in general, not only in academia, but I mean in general, is culture. And culture is something that's really complicated, and it's not easy to change. And I believe it takes decades to, it change the perception, and it change the attitude. And however, the efforts, culture cannot be completely changed in no time. So basically, when we started this pandemic outbreak, I was one of the people who was struggling, and I was, thinking about giving up my work every day. And I found it really hard to achieve the life-work balance, and having my husband and my child at home. It was really very challenging for me. And every morning I was telling myself, maybe it's time for a break, maybe it's time for family. And I spent like a few months trying to figure out how to deal with the situation, and how to have quality time with my family, and at the same time conduct the research and do the thing that I really like. And of course, I had to follow some daily routine, and some hobbies and some meditation and therapy to help me to organize my thoughts and everything. And especially when it comes to academia and research, I think the research is very intellectual activity that needs mental wellness, that needs time, that needs effort. And doing it from home with many sources of distraction is kind of difficult. So the thing that really helped me is having time management and early morning routine. And I was happy because I took this time of the pandemic to reflect on my priorities, and actually to reflect on the research ideas that I'm going to pursue in the future. And another thing that it's not related to me personally, and I want to discuss with you, is the culture of women are not breadwinner, and they are kind of complementing in the community, and it's not necessarily for them to work. And some people say, and actually the majority of people say, oh, you're not expanding, so there is no need for you to work, there is no need for you to have a career. And I have a different opinion on this, because apart from the money, apart from breadwinning thing, it's you can contribute to the community in so many ways. I mean, we can raise children, and we can do house chores, and at the same time we can contribute to the research, and we can advance our community and do a lot of positive impact in the society. So this kind of mentality of, you know, put many obstacles for women to pursue their careers in different sectors in the country. So hopefully by time, and actually I'm so happy and optimistic because I see a lot of initiatives from different parties and different entities in the country giving attention to women, and they show successful cases for entrepreneurs, and I see so many women in different ministries. That's very promising and very optimistic way to promote women in the region and specifically in Egypt.
Thank you, Siham. I think we can invite Rania and Dina to share their thoughts also before we move on to our second question.
Hello, Dr. Noha. Hello,
Yes.
Dr. Noha. Hello, Dr. Siham, Dr. Naila. This is Mahinur. I'm the regional trainer at Emerald Publishing here. And how are you? How is everything? I think Dr. Noha, and for those who know me well, that I'll be one of the most the happiest persons ever with this kind of session. And with the role of women, especially in our region, facing all these challenges, and I'm so proud of all of you. And it was really hard, and it's really difficult. And I just wanted to share with you that for someone who's a trainer and coming with my background in the Middle East, and I'm a single mom too, and now staying home with all this horrific incidents about us, and moving to digital training instead of on-site, and it's big changes, and it was very challenging, and people are like you are role models to a lot of women, in that sometimes we feel weak, sometimes we feel like it's too much or we cannot go on, and we see how successful you are, how strong you are, how well poised you are, and it just gives us a push forward to keep on going. So I just wanted to thank you before you move from this point, and before we start with the Miss Rania and Miss Dina. I think they're having a technical problem with the internet. So I just wanted to thank you, and just wanted to tell you that really you are doing a great impact. Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Mahinur.
Thank you, Mahi. And I think we can proceed to the second question till the technical problem is resolved. Basically, our second question is, how has importance of women empowerment been accelerated due to COVID-19 in particular? This pandemic situation that has been ongoing maybe since last year, more than a year now. So how has the importance of women empowerment as a topic and as a research area, and also for women in academia, been accelerated? Dr. Naila, what are some of your thoughts about this issue?
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Noha. I would like to stick with Mrs. Siham about that research needs the whole mind and being in peace to have a good research. But with COVID-19, we had to take care of all of the house, and the closure of daycares and the schools is another pressure for us as a females, that we should follow our kids in their homeschooling, and we should take the research. And also, I have read some statistics that the research of women is coming down with the COVID-19 due to pressures that we have already challenges before the pandemic. So what about we have more challenges now with the COVID-19, that we don't have the time as usual. We need to do more time management. Also, that research is it needs to to follow the updates that COVID-19 come with. So we have to take care of this. For the COVID-19 also, I have read that there are the medical fields is also suffering with research also, that some women has less research in the medical field. So we have to work hard. And now we have some research that is proposing some plans to take care of women after the pandemic, that we already have challenges before. Now the challenges are getting more and more, and there is a problem of getting afraid that women will not continue their research or their role model in the academia after the pandemic because of the challenges that they are facing. So we have to do more support for women to understand or consider that they have time management problems, they have more responsibilities to do, and we have to take care of this. And it could be also be solved by having research groups, not only a single author. We have to do research groups to solve or to support each other. So this is for the COVID-19 in brief.
Thank you, Dr. Naila. Siham, would you like to comment on this question, please?
Yes. Generally speaking, the pandemic has placed a lot of negative impact on people in general, regardless of the gender, in terms of mental illness and physical illness and everything. And for women, I think it's the double, because as I mentioned earlier, we take care of children and home and house chores, and at the same time we want to work and continue whatever we are doing in our career. So I think giving attention to women from different parties in the community is very important. If we are talking about families like husbands and family members, they should understand that we are under pressure. And even from organizations, they should know that, yes, maybe we are a bit late, we are not meeting deadlines, but at the same time, we are doing our best. So they have to have the empathy for women, and they have to show support and understanding. And I think it's very important for women to be empowered. And my research mainly focused on social entrepreneurs. And one of the main things about social entrepreneurship is empowering community and getting community involved. And I think that the feeling of you're not alone is very important. So as Dr. Naila said, empowering women through support group, and when you have discussion with other women and you listen to their experiences and you share yours with them, it's kind of empowering you. So I think this kind of thing, and I really appreciate the initiative of Emerald Engage, because it put all the people from the academia and research together. And actually I was browsing yesterday through the chat, and I was inspired, and I saw that so many people around the world have the same difficulties, and they are trying to open up new paths and trying to give advice. That's very inspiring, and we need to do this so we can empower each other and get each other aligned on the same page.
Thank you very much for this. I think for these comments, I think the role of mentorship is very important for women, especially women in academia. And just because we didn't get a chance because of the electricity cut to share the slide on also COVID-19 influences, I'd like to highlight it again based on recent research about the influence of COVID-19 on the role of women and the gender gap. And as you see here on the left, COVID-19 has led to three basic, very important trends And these are labor market shifts, abrupt change to remote work arrangements, going online, and also abrupt change to remote school for many children, which has led maybe to changes in gender roles on both professional and personal levels for many women, that have led to a blurring of boundaries between work and family, and have increased maybe pressures on women, as you have correctly mentioned. So the third question we have is now on the level of women in academia. What are some of the challenges that face women in the Middle East region? Again, Dr. Naila, if you want to comment, and Siham, this would be very beneficial, I'm sure, to the audience.
Previously, Dr. Naila, would you like to comment first?
No, you can go first, no problem.
So I said earlier the culture, and now I want to add something that I see a lot, and sometimes I personally do, which is the self-confidence. We are, as females, usually don't have this much confidence in our capabilities, in our, abilities to do a lot of things. And sometimes I collapse and I say, no, I can't do it. I'm really weak, and I'm really fragile, and I cannot continue. And these kind of negative thoughts, sometimes push me down. But at the end, I try to push me up and push myself up, and I say, no, I've been through a lot, and I can do it. And that's not only me, and a lot of women around the world face difficulties in a way or another. And when I replace the negative thoughts with positive thoughts, I see the energy come to my mind and to my body, and at that time I just recharge my energy, and I feel I have the appetite to give, I have the appetite to work and focus more. And I think the self-confidence is very important. And one of the research findings we usually find when we collect the data for entrepreneurship monitor report, the females have less capabilities and they have less self-perception when it comes to their perception about starting up their own businesses. And I think it's not only about starting a business, but also about their capabilities in general. And this is something that's really related to the way they raise females in our communities. As Dr. Naila said, they raise females, you have to be a people pleaser, you have to follow, and you shouldn't lead. And if you lead, that sometimes give a misunderstanding about you, as you are a bad person and you are not controllable, and actually it's something negative. So I think we need to it's not me, it's not an individual initiative, but I think universities should focus on training for female, at university level or even at employee level. They should boost their self-confidence, and this should be a focus for so many organizations like companies, schools, universities. They should give female the push to believe in themselves and their capabilities, and they can do so many things, and they can do them perfectly.
Thank you very much. I think we go back to this issue of also mentorship and networks and support system for women, especially in academia.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, Doctor. Yes, yes.
Oh, wow, finally.
Yeah, finally.
Welcome on board. Can you see the screen? Can you see the question?
Webcams, hold on.
I think you are not sharing your screen, Dr.
Disadvantages, definitely. Share my webcam. Okay.
Okay, so we are asking the question about the challenges facing women in academia in the Middle East.
What was the question again?
The challenges facing women in academia in the Middle East region. Would you like to comment about this or any other challenges that are facing women in general in the region?
Yes, I've been. I actually wanted to comment from the beginning on the first question because, well, I loved it when you were talking, when the other panelists were talking about how women are raised since they're young, since they're little girls, and that some of that the culture forces them to take the role of a young mother, let's say, to their siblings. And actually, I have this thing that comes out instantly without even thinking about it. Because even if you complain about having this problem with your siblings, when you raise your own kids, you do the same thing and tell them, you take this role, you should do this, you're the girl, you should help in cooking, you should help in cleaning the house, etc. But I actually don't find it a big problem having putting this role on girls since they're young and teaching them to become useful women and independent women and helpful women. But the problem is that men on the other side should learn how to be responsible for their cultural duty. So if you want to put burdens on women and girls in the community because the culture forces you to do so, you also need to put rules and burdens on men and young men to take the responsibility of the house. So you don't ask women to take responsibilities without sharing the responsibilities by your role, by your cultural role. So that was one
yes,
thing.
I think this is very important. Yeah. Please continue. Yes.
And about academic challenges, I can share my own experience in this because I started my career when I was only 19, and I was working in a German company for mechanical foundation, and I remember I was the youngest in the whole company, and I was studying at the same time, and I after 1 year I got married, and then 1 year and I got my first child. So I started everything so early, and I had so many responsibilities going on the same time. I remember everybody was just sitting back and looking, how will she manage to take care of the house and take care of her work? And they were like observing me. So when thank God I was able to manage that, everybody was taking me like they were considering it like a role model. You were studying, having a house, having a family, all at the same time. So it was a real challenge, and you cannot find any other challenges to add to me. I remember I was in my exams on the third day, and then and it was the same day I got my first child. It was my Labor Day, so and I gave birth to my first child, Nada, on the third day of my exams. So I stopped 1 day and then returned back to the exams. I remember everybody, what? You just you just gave birth like 2 days ago? It's like impossible. Everybody considered it like a crazy thing to do. But I enjoyed well, sitting back now, I enjoyed doing all that. But I don't see the new generation having the tolerance like our generation. Yani when I compare myself with my daughter is now 22. I remember 22, I was already married. And maybe I'm waiting for my or I was pregnant at the time, 22 or 23. Yes, 22. I got married and then got pregnant. So, and had the whole family responsibility on my shoulders. But I don't see her doing the same thing. She's asking only to be pampered, and she's asking for more rights. So I really worry about the new generation and men in the new generation.
Couldn't agree more. So basically, just to sum up some key takeaways from what you have just mentioned, I think the gender role attitudes in this culture have significantly influenced reduction in gender equity here in Egypt and also in the region. And so maybe we can now ask the question, what kind of support do women need in general in the region, and how can, what would help them actually to achieve gender equity? And basically, what are some tips that we can give to women? So at the beginning, I raised the issue of work-life balance, but what are some specific issues to women in academia, maybe, that you would like to share?
I believe this should start from schools. Like everything that you want to any rule that you want to apply in the society and add to your culture, you start by school. So it starts from schools, from libraries. They can to raise awareness on giving equal roles, equal rights to both men and women, girls and boys. So this I would say should start from the early age. And when it's a whole campaign, people can work together on different aspects. So schools can work on their young students. Family consultants can work on that. TV campaigns can help with that. So all can work together, and also libraries as a main institute that is working #1 for raising awareness in the society can have this as one of its focus points to help the community balance between the rights of women and men. So, and when it starts from an early age, it will become like a trend, and it will be part of the normal attitude between people. So, and then when I believe this will start early, people will start with men like person. So they will see them as persons, not as women and men. So this should help with the balance of the community, of the society. And of course, when it comes to academic academic work and academic life, people never think of this goes for women. Engineering, no, engineering doesn't go for women. Engineering goes better for men. So there won't be any barriers or any problems having girls or women study whatever they want, or being employed in whatever job they are interested in. So it goes like through education from an early age, and through a campaign and advocacy for the equal rights of women and men. So.
Dr. Naila and Sinan and Rania, thank you for. I see that you have joined us. If you would like to comment, please do. What kind of support do women need in the region?
Okay. First of all, thank you for Emerald for this nice and very useful actually session. We were so excited to join this session, and sorry for any inconvenience that were happening since we tried to join you. I can start by my experience actually, because my experience was a little bit difficult because I wanted to study abroad. And you know how it's very difficult for a girl to tell your parents that you wanted to study abroad, because my father was overprotecting. So it was also challenging for me, because I after I got married, I was married in very small age, like 20. So I thought that my husband would never accept this, but he accepted. So I got my master's degree from London. And all the challenges that you face when you travel alone without your family, and all the challenges that you left your children here and you left your family and you have to depend on yourself, and to try to join different academia. Since I graduated here from the Faculty of Arts English department, so for me to study abroad and to study another major, which is library and information studies, it was also a challenge for me. And to be alone, it was also a challenge. And to learn there every step and every rule, and you have different discipline, and there is no one to help you, and you know how people there are acting like you're alone. You have to act on yourself, you have to find your way, and you have to succeed, because you can't tell your parents and you can't tell your husband that you didn't do it. After all this, you left your family and you didn't do it. So it was a very big challenge for me. But also I found there how they have this image about the Egyptian women, because they were saying like, we didn't expect that a married woman is here with us. How come? We know that husbands and men in Egypt, and especially in the Arab region, would never accept to let their wives travel for 1 or 2 years alone. And this was one of the messages that I have to take since the first moment I arrived there, that no, we travel alone, we learn and we teach, and we have women as judges, we have women in everywhere, and we have all our rights. Of course, we have some difficulties and we have some challenges, but here in academia, we have lots of females who joined the universities, and now they are professors, they travel, they got their degrees from outside. So no, I'm not a unique person. We have many other cases. But this was also a good experience for me to express how women can deal with all these difficulties in the foreign countries, because they expect like, Rania, would you join us for a party? Rania, would you go to the library alone? You need someone with you to go. No, I can do everything alone. So this was really a good experience for me. For academia, I found also many challenges, because you found there lots of resources, and libraries are very big, which were very different from me, but you learn. And then when I returned back to Egypt, I have all this in my mind to deliver this message to all the researchers and all the students, and even to my daughter. Just dream and think about all what you aspire. Even if you want to study abroad, it's not impossible. You can do it. And there, it's not an easy thing, but you can do it by the end. So this was also things that I learned by studying abroad. And even if I wanted to continue and to study there, I found that it's not easy now, because with all these responsibilities, because you know that you have many responsibilities added to you by the time you're promoted, you have more children are older. But I think also I can do it again, to travel again, to have my PhD. We can do it without any borders. You don't expect like, I'm 40, no, I'm not gonna do my PhD while I'm 40. No, you can do it even if you're 50. I have another friend who is now doing her PhD while she's 50. Yes, she started her PhD while she's 50. No, you can do whatever you want, since you have the dream, you have the passion. Just believe in yourself and believe that you can get the first steps. Not in an easy way. It's gonna be difficult, because you will never fulfill your dream. You will never fulfill anything without doing much effort. So this was part of my experience, actually.
I'm proud of my courageous friend sharing her age.
I'm 39 actually, turning 40.
That was very brave. That was very brave.
So I think maybe we want to moderate questions from the audience. If we have any questions for the panel.
Yes, I'd love to, and I just wanted to reflect on one thing. As an I have specialized in education, and it was one of my passion to read more about psychology and bringing up kids, and which reflects on the way you educate them. And I just wanted to say that it goes both ways. It's how you raise your kids at home, and how you choose the path for their education. I was very fortunate and lucky to have a very supportive father. He was not like any other of his peers at my time. He was very supportive. He never told me, you cannot do that because you're a girl. He always told me, like, you can do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. He never cared about what will people say about you, how they're going to look at you. Oh, how come you're not married till now? Why you're not doing the wedding as they're supposed to? How many kids you'll have? When you're going to have kids? It was never an issue. I was never in comparison with any of my family, relatives, or my friends, or neighbors, that they're getting better grades, or they look better. See how feminine they're wearing makeup. And I was very boyish, and I was very into sports and cars and everything. So while my friends, they were listening to cute music, putting makeup, wearing everything, and it's not wrong, but it wasn't me. Even everything I chose was different. And it wasn't something that I felt ever that I am labeled with, or I have to go by the book fulfilling everybody's expectations. It wasn't, it just wasn't. And I think that gave me the power, with all the things that I face daily, with all the challenges, with all the problems that try to put you down and tell you that you can't, that you are, all your effort is going to be wasted, nothing will be ever appreciated. I just don't care, because I never cared about how they see me, how they're expected from me to behave, or to be, or to look, or to be married, or it's not like that. And this it comes from the house, the way you bring up your child, your girl, the woman of the future. Tell her you are equal. You can do and be whatever, as long as you don't hurt anyone, and to give the self-confidence. You build it from at a very young age. The same when it comes to education. You choose the type of education that empowers the girl. For one example, I was talking a couple of years back with my girl, and she likes to read a lot, and she reads in biographies, and she was telling me a lot about female figures from all around the world, and she was telling me why Arabs and Arab females are not as powerful, and they don't have the same freedom. It was alarming to me, but because I chose the education that supports my message with her. Her school activities, for example, they are giving them lots of activities to tell them about the Women Month, female figures, empowerment. They get dressed up as these females, tell them to give presentations about what they did and their achievements, boys and girls. The girls will get dressed up like the female figures they choose, and the boys will wear a t-shirt wearing the same photo for the woman, and doing a presentation about her. We have to educate both genders about the value of the woman. This is your mom, this is your sister, this is your colleague, this is your wife. If you demean her, you're demeaning yourself, and you're demeaning your kids. So this session actually is something that it should be shared on a very wide range, and it is needed. It would always be needed, and it's very vital. And we have lots of questions, so I'll just give you some headache with the questions, and let's take. One of the questions is, how do we do the time management? Like, if I want to work they always say if I'm working, then I'm not fulfilling my duty as a woman at home. So how to do this time management? How to do this equilibrium?
I would like to answer that, because at the beginning I had a problem, because I was trying to seek perfection in everything, and this is the first thing that would stop you of managing everything. So seeking perfection is not the key. Seeking the right balance is the key. So you put priorities from day one. You sit and set your priorities, and then give each priority a percentage that would allow you to balance all the duties that you have in your on your shoulders in the right way. So I always have many things, many tasks to do at the same time, like taking care of the house, taking care of the sports of the kids and their studies and their health and so on, and also my own studies and my career and my family responsibility and my responsibility towards my friends and my responsibility towards having fun, because this is an important thing that anyone, if you lose fun in your life and your personal and social network, this is this will be the end of the woman, because then she will be overloaded and gloomy, and then she will lose her life, and I can assure you success in her life will not be sustainable. It will be temporarily. So I would say the first thing is setting priorities and not seeking perfection. So,
I agree, Mehi, I agree with Dina, and I think also one of the small routines that have helped me over the years is starting my day early in the morning, and you know, this has helped a lot in some of the major milestones of my personal life, like my PhD studies, like fulfilling work requirements, like having to do some house chores when everyone else is still, you know, sleeping and not starting their day yet. So, you know, you have some time on your own. So this has also, aside from prioritizing and also not seeking perfection in all the tasks that you do, there's one thing that's going to be done 100% well, something else 90%, 80%, you know, sometimes 70% is okay. So that you can manage most of the tasks and give the right priorities the right time.
I can add one thing. I can add one thing actually to what you were saying, which is delegation. You can do everything, but you can just, after doing the priorities, you can have some tasks that you can give to your children, so they can be more independent. So you can do everything for them without doing everything. You can do everything by making themselves doing it for themselves, because it's for their benefits. You can't keep doing everything for them. You have to make them learn more and more by doing the things, by training them on time management, actually, because they have to know that they have a working mom and a mom that has the research and she has to work. I always have something that I'm writing. So after I finish my work in the library, I have to finalize my works at home, which is related all the time to research. So I can't go all the day out there doing the things for them. So sometimes they have to do it for themselves, if they can, of course. If they are young, of course you have to do it by yourself, but also by selecting things. We can't put which is something that I can see from all moms around, that they want their children to join 10 activities. 10 activities is more than you can imagine to have all the schedules for 10 activities. You can just focus on 1 or 2. My kids are playing handball, and they started this since they were 4, and now it's after 14 years playing. they are focusing on only one sport. They started 3, but then it's like, no, we can't go on this. All these schedules, all this hazard that you go on and trying to catch all the trainings. So you have to teach your children that also they have priorities and they have time management since they are very young. You have to choose. You know, I always tell them, you have your schedule. I can decide for you. Either you go to the training or you study. So you know yourself, you know your time. If it's okay for you to join the training today, you have to go. If you can't, you just apologize and said to your trainer, I can't join today. My schedule is not enough. I have no space in my schedule. So you just have to mitigate and learn to teach them.
Yeah. I also would like to add, having a plan is very important. Like, for example, as a researcher, you can set that for this year, I would like to publish 2 journal papers or 1. So when you have this plan, you feel time management more, and you also feel that you are achieving something at the end. Not that time is running away from you and you are not doing research, you are not doing your work. So having a plan for everything is very important also.
Yes, and actually, I like what you were all discussing, because I believe you said the things that I actually started to do, like having a very early morning routine and try to let my son depend more on himself, and he knows that I'm working and I have other tasks to do. And actually, I wanted to comment on what Ms. Dina said regarding the empowerment and her personal story. I think always behind success of women, there must someone who's really empowering her, like a mom or dad, because the same thing happened to me, because my background is kind of different. I come from the countryside, where you lack the role model, and you imagine ladies there, with all the respect, they are following and they never, you know, pursue their education, and I mean high education, and they are not allowed to travel alone or take any leadership responsibilities. But my family was kind of different. My father is not educated, and neither my mom, and they usually pushed us to focus on education. And compared to family relatives and friends, they got married at early age, like 16 or 17, but usually my mom said, no, focus on your education, you have to be educated and you have to have your career. So this kind of words pushed us and motivated us to, you know, be a mom. It's something good, but at the same time, you have to have your own career and you have to focus on your dreams and pursue them. And also, one of the things that really helped me to, you know, overcome the pandemic situation and working from home is sleeping early. I know it's not easy for many people, but I actually managed to do this, and you know, get up so early so I can have a fresh mind in the morning and quiet time so I can focus on research. And as Ms. Rania said, seeking perfection is killing us, and actually it can lead to burnout, and it happened to me. So now I prioritize my work, and as Dr. Naila said, I have to focus on this, and it's okay to not to be in control of everything, and just have some tasks done and baby steps. And these kind of activities really helped me a lot to go back on the right track after struggling for a year.
Right. Can I add something regarding this for researchers? Actually, because we see a lot that researchers are accepting to review or to write a paper for a journal, or even to join a conference with a presentation or a paper. Since I was in many committees, we find that they accept this, and then you chasing them to submit the paper or to submit the presentation, because they are overloaded with all these presentations and all these papers that they have. So if you are doing the research and really you care about the quality of research that you're submitting, you have to choose also what you are submitting and your priorities in the conferences you're joining and even in the journals you're writing for. So I do this. So you categorize and you do priorities in even selecting. You don't accept all the invitations even to attend, even when we were attending, of course, conferences. So you keep going to a conference and another conference saying nothing, because you didn't prepare yourself well. You have like 10 papers that you have to prepare. So you give all your power divided on 10, while you can divide it on 4 or 5, like half. So the quality would be much better. And we see this a lot in different committees, that we asked special persons, we asked all the people actually to submit papers. So people are accepting, and we keep going. Please send us the full paper, send us, and you review and you send remarks. And then all this process takes time, because the researcher is not focused on one paper. He's working on many other papers, many other presentations. So this is one of the problems that we face actually in research. And I think, of course, was asked from Emerald, they face this a lot with researchers, that they submit papers and they have to contact them. Of course, because all the time journals are seeking high quality of articles. So if you are willing to work with journals like Emerald or any other publisher, you have to seek the best qualities that you can offer. So this is also one of the things that related to time management, that you can't be greedy in working.
Yeah, greedy is a good word.
Yeah. So there is another question that's really, I think it's very alarming, and I think that all of us face, that the gender boss threatened. It means that, what about it? It means that, what about the females in the boss position? Most of them, they feel very threatened, and you can tell that's very unacceptable for the majority, that the woman is the boss and not them. So how do you deal in such a matter? You're the boss and you're working among men, and you are the one who control, and they actually are not accepting. Dr. Noah, I think you can reflect on that.
Yes, this is the challenge, especially in a culture that is, promoting this idea over and over again and magnifying it. How I deal personally, I deal very professionally. The more professional I am, I try to be understanding, of course, but I deal professional. I go to the core of the work requirements, and I deal professional, and this is how it is, and that's it. So this has worked very well in the past, and being focused and being planned and being professional always deals with this issue. Yeah. Well, I don't know about the other ladies here. Maybe they can also reflect on this. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with Dr. Noha, since in September I just got the head of department of data science, and it was fighting to have the things settled down, because they are new to have a woman, and I was pregnant in my 7th month. So how it could be to be a woman and pregnant at the same time, having this responsibility to lead this department. So, but as Dr. Naha said, the best way is to be professional, to put your tears and feelings aside, and be direct to the point. And after a while, they get used, and they understand that there's no problem to have women as a leadership for this department, or being in the management of anything else.
I would also like to add to this, because that was also a challenge, because being the head of section at the Library of Alexandria, as a woman, as considered a young professional. Maybe my attitude is a bit outgoing, and I'm a social person and known by everyone and the friend of everyone. So when it comes to managing the place, the best thing you do is setting rules, putting a system and setting rules. And with the system, and while putting rules and delegating responsibilities, certain responsibilities, and it gives you like actually it frees you. It frees you from the conflict that can occur while dealing individually and by task or by without personalizing. You just put rules and you put a system for work. And my background is I'm a graduate of the German school, and the graduates of the German schools have like a different mindset. They're so like systematic, and they're organized. They have their own mindset, and they have their own personality. So I'm a friend of everyone, and being their boss or their team leader, I would like to choose this word better. So being the team leader of the library sector doesn't change the fact that we are friends and we are colleagues, and we help each other. We have our social side, but keeping in mind that the most important thing is to keep this place running in an accurate and professional way, and support each other to improve and develop the services and activities and the operations of the place. So being putting a system and being like dealing with everyone professionally, like Dr. Naila just said, Dr. Noha, I mean.
Okay, there is. This leads to clear expectations also, which is very important to avoid any role conflicts or any misunderstandings. Having a system in place also leads to clear expectations, and so that you have a professional conversation.
Yes.
There is another question. Not actually a question. There is one of our attendees is saying there is a pregnancy discrimination. When she was pregnant during at her job, she got discriminated by her boss, her peers, even the clients she used to deal with, and her students, that she got discriminated, like she's not in the good mood, she's not in the good health to take care of her responsibilities. How did you handle this? Actually faced it? Pregnancy discrimination?
Discrimination in my case was not the case. I didn't find any discrimination.
Yeah, me too. Actually, I work in an international university, and I haven't seen this personally, and I think it was kind of accepting from people around me, and my manager was very accepting, and he was, you know, he was very understanding the situation, and it could happen in some other places, but I haven't seen this personally.
I've just read an article at The Guardian that they said around 5,000 women, just let me make sure, from 50,000 women, they lose their jobs during maternity. So, and I think that you were lucky to not face this. There is another challenge also that one of our attendees.
Just commenting on the research finding you've just said, I think it could be related to females themselves. They think they cannot do the life-work balance, so they retire from the career. And actually, I see this a lot around me.
Yes.
You know, family members and friends and colleagues at work, they cannot bear the burden of family and work.
Maybe that's also
maybe that there are many individual and institutional factors that
exactly.
can affect whether women are able to sustain their careers or not. So it would depend on the specific situation there.
Yes, exactly. But the thing is, as Dr. Noha said at the beginning of the first question, that it depends on how you raised the woman or the girl at the very beginning. If she's accepting that she needs to be living in accordance to everybody's expectations, or what she actually aims to be, or what she aims to do in her life. So some of the challenges also that they're saying that I'm doing a job. I know that it was mostly researchers, that it was mostly known for males, not female jobs in management places. But now I'm happy to see that females are taking in the lead at this path too. So, what do you think? What do you think about this? Is it no, it's researchers. She's saying that it's used to be known for as it's a male job, not a female job, like a head of research, or it's supposed to be a male job, not a female job. But she's very happy to see that this is actually now changing. So is it changing, or
it is changing? I think we shared some statistics at the beginning on the level of different regions in the world, and the general conclusion is yes, it's true that professorships and leading managerial positions in universities and in academia are led by men, but there is an ongoing conversation with varying degrees in different countries in the world and in different regions in Europe, in the US, also in the Middle East. And I think there is gradual change towards increasing the numbers of women participation as professors and as leaders in the management of universities. Yes.
Yes, true. So I think Nadine joined us also now. Rania, would you like to add something?
So sorry for my inconvenience. So adding up to the challenges, not for women, but for the electricity in Egypt. So I encountered a bit of a problem with electricity in the whole area. So I apologize for that. But as always, ladies do a great job. So I thank all the panelists so much for really being there and sharing all the experience. It's really great to have you here and talking about these challenges. It's really great to have you here. Thank you so much for all of that.
Thank you.
And yes, and we'll be sharing the recording, and we will be sharing everything with all the audience again. I have one more thing to add. So regarding this campaign, we also have engaged discussions going on. So women challenges don't end, and there's a lot to talk about with all of you and all the experts really in the academia field. So we're having these discussion rooms on Engage on our platform. So I invite everyone to go on and continue the discussions, and we really need to support each other and other women on their journeys. So there's a room created for today's webinar regarding this topic. So I really invite you to share more and keep the conversation going. I'll be sharing the links, and also there are lots of links for free content that Emerald is assigning for International World Women's Day campaign. So there's lots of research free. I'll be sharing this also with all the audience. Thank you so much again.
Thank you very much
for being here today, and see you in the next webinars. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank
Noha,
you very
so
much.
Everyone, it was a
It was
pleasure.
to be with all of you today. Thank you. Thank you. Have a great weekend. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.